Mixed tenses in English. Early in learning English, you were probably taught not to mix your tenses. In other words, if you start writing or speaking in the present tense, you should stay in the present tense. On the other hand, if you start speaking or writing in the simple past, you should stay in the simple past. And that's a good place to start when you're beginning to learn English. However, as you advance in your fluency and gain a better command of English, you'll soon realize that native speakers mix their tenses quite often. And this is because verb tenses don't actually exist in isolation. You've probably seen a chart similar to this one, where each verb tense is explained in its own little box and it's separate from the verb tenses that are around it. However, in everyday spoken and written English, we actually use different tenses because verb tenses overlap and they intersect and they interact with each other when we tell stories. So, when we use the simple present, we talk about things that are always true. We talk about scientific facts, we talk about habitual actions or things that we repeat over and over. Um, and we talk about things that will always be true. Okay. The simple past is used when we talk about a past action being completed, but the present perfect is used to talk about an action that is in the that was completed in the past, but it's done now. And so often when we learn maybe the difference between present perfect and simple past, it's difficult to understand when do we use it unless we know that using this verb tense allows us to focus our attention on an indefinite time, or maybe that time is not known or it's not important. So I might say something like, I have seen that movie. And I use the present perfect because when I saw that movie is either unimportant or I don't remember exactly when I saw it. But if I say I saw that movie last night, now I'm focused on the completion of an action uh, and a specific time in the past. And so um, mixed verb tenses become somewhat troublesome for people because in order to mix those tenses well, you have to understand when and how to use different verb tenses. In this short video, I'm not going to cover every verb tense, but I do want to um, point out that different verb tenses are used for specific reasons, and that is why we have so many different verb tenses. Just a quick note, one verb tense that you will not see on this chart that does exist is the habitual past, and that is used to talk about an action that was done repeatedly in the past that is no longer true, and so we could add that to this chart. So, why do English speakers mix their tenses? This is taken from phrasemix.com. And there's four reasons that this author highlights um, about why they do it. They do it because thoughts can happen in the past or the present, and so we express different ideas when we're talking about what we think. So here, he, I knew he was lying. So here I have the simple, the simple present, and here I have the past perfect. Here I have the simple past. I was glad, along with the simple past that they left. So we think and we speak about our thoughts in the past, um, sometimes in the present. Another reason is because when we use reported speech, and this is when we talk about what someone else said, the verb tense that we first use will influence the verb tense that follows. Okay, so for example, here I have the verb tense in the simple past. She told me that she wanted some ice water. So simple past, simple past. But sometimes we say things that are always true. So he taught me in the past, he taught me something. I learned something, but what he taught me is used in the simple present because it's always true. Here they use permanently true, but I say always true. It could be a scientific truth. Another reason that speakers will mix their tenses is for dramatic effect. This happens very, very frequently in storytelling, which we'll look at an example of in a moment. So notice the verb tenses here. Um, it was last Monday night. It was last Monday, simple past. I had just gotten, past perfect. Had just gotten off work, simple past. I was in the apartment alone. Now look at what a storyteller will do in American English. Suddenly, I hear a strange noise. I get up and I go to the bathroom, to the bathroom door, which is closed. And so I see the simple past, past perfect, simple past, and then here, simple present. I get up, simple present, simple present. And we do this for the dramatic effect. And then sometimes, not just English speakers, native speakers of all languages make mistakes. And so sometimes you'll hear mixed tenses in speaking, you'll see it in writing because people make mistakes and not everyone uses their language perfectly. So, one of the reasons English speakers mix their tenses is because of to add dramatic effect for storytelling. Look at this short story about Teresa's day. The blue font is in the simple present. Here, Teresa had been sleeping. That's the um, present perfect progressive tense. Here, she got up. The sound of the doorbell had woken up Maria. Had also woken up Maria, who's Teresa's roommate. And so here we see the past perfect. We're seeing a lot of different tenses being used. Here we see the simple past. After that, Teresa and Maria went back inside. And then the speaker or the writer switches over to the the simple present. Now it's 12 o'clock. Here, and Teresa's eating lunch, present progressive. And so all of this is used to add effect to the story. And I apologize, I'm not going to read this entire story. So sometimes it's acceptable to shift changes for these reasons. Here's one other example I wanted to point out. This is from uh, the English theenglishisland.com, and this is in the Blackboard site, or if you're watching this video on YouTube. Um, at that time, I thought simple past that my ESL teacher was being past progressive, was being needlessly precise. However, now, because now it's true, I appreciate in the simple present how tricky the tenses can be. So we can see here there are many situations, especially as you become more and more advanced, why um, native English speakers will mix their tenses.